Morning guys, so we've got quite an eventful day today because we're going to Auschwitz. We're going to Auschwitz-Birkenau to go for the guided tour. So we've just left the apartment back there and we're just walking to where the bus stop is going to pick us up, but it's currently about 10 to 8 and they're picking us up at 20 past. It'll take us about 10 minutes to walk there, so we should have roughly about 20 minutes to just grab a little bite to eat, and then we have got some food in a backpack as well to eat on the coach because it takes about an hour to get there. Well guys, we're on the coach now. Getting ready to set off. The coach is quite full. We're looking forward to it. Not looking forward to it, but I think that's the wrong phrase, but you know what I mean. Well, we've just got off the coach and we're walking over to the entrance now to go be let in. We've been given stickers and we've been given our tickets, so just going to the entrance now. We've got through the entrance, it's back there, so now we're going through the security checkpoint. We have to remove all metal and electronics and stuff, and then show them your passport and your ticket, and then they guide you around with your audio device and stuff. So I don't want to say looking forward to it because that's not the right phrase, but I'm definitely interested in what it's going to be like. Got the earpiece on, so she's going through some information now. In the two following clips, the noises that you can hear in the background is a recording of the names of all of the victims. It's a map of Auschwitz there. You can see the gate over there. An SS guard post building. This is the gate. Double barbed wire fences. Fry. 28 blocks in Auschwitz 1, which is where we are now. 15 to 18,000 people in these Soviet soldiers, prisoners of war, were held in these ones, and they were the first people that they used the Zyklon B gas canisters on. Of all the places that the Jewish people were brought to Auschwitz from. Is just filled with sorrow. Detailing how they got to the camps. It's illegal photos taken from the gas chamber and crematorium with what they do once all the bodies have been removed. They burn them publicly in pits. It's a model of Auschwitz and what it was like. Cyclone B, and they originally used to treat lice, and then created by a pest control company, and then they eventually used them to exterminate the Jews. I'm unable to show you because there was no photography or filming in that room, but we've just been in the room with all the human hair, and there's 2 tons of human hair all behind the glass, and it's just absolutely disgusting. It's so upsetting seeing something so harrowing, and seeing just how badly they were treated. All the perfect boxes. This is all the things that was taken from handicapped people before they'd be exterminated. There's crutches, leg braces, prosthetics, everything. This is everything what would be removed from them before they'd be then shortly after killed. There's approximately 40,000 pairs of shoes here. It spans both sides of the room. All of these belong to real people that died at the hands of the Nazis. This is disgusting. These are the shoes of children. It's children's shoes, look at how small they are. Children's clothes. Children's socks, children's clothes. It's just, all of these are luggage and cases and things which people transported all of their belongings in. All of these have just were all dumped and left. These are all people's suitcases, most with the names on it. We've just left that building, the one with all the material goods of all the Jews, and it's just absolute. It's harrowing. It's awful. It's one of the most interesting and most disgusting things I have ever seen. Some paintings done by someone who survived in Auschwitz, and detailing the different activities what the SS soldiers would do, and like this one, robbing all the new arrivals of their properties and beating them. Especially that one where they would torment them and force everyone to strip fully naked, and then have to shower in either ice cold water or extremely boiling hot water, and then they'd have to wait outside to dry, even in winter. Auschwitz was the only Nazi camp where prisoners had the camp numbers tattooed on them due to high mortality rate and difficulties in identifying corpses. And they had different marks on them. And each of those tells you what each one would be labelled with. These are examples of pieces of cloth that have the different symbols on it. These are real prisoner clothing, real prisoner attire, what they would have to wear in these camps. These are all pictures of genuine prisoners that were found once the camp was liberated. It's men on this side of the wall, and women and children along this side of the wall. These are pictures of the children. Some of the major children that were here, and some of them that had blonde hair and blue eyes were sent to Germany to become Germanised and grow up as Aryan. The wall back there is what's known as the Wall of Death, where prisoners would be shot in the back of the head by SS soldiers. These are the rooms. This was for the Gestapo court, and this was the Gestapo court, the death penalty, like room where you decide on like the death penalty and punishment. This is where people would sleep on the floor. A lot of them were found out by the time there was the liberation. This is where the inmates would sleep. This is one of the best quality rooms. It's known as the habitable room, and it was for prisoners who were performing duties in barricades. And this is the washroom where women had to strip before execution, and then they went outside to the yard and were shot against the death penalty. So we've just been through the basement and saw like the proper prisoner cells, and none of them even had beds. They were all just concrete walls with a single window and like a double locking door, but at least some of them had a window. At cell 20, it had no window. It was a completely isolated cell. It had no window. It had a double door and a slight, a tiny hole for ventilation. So if multiple people were put in cell 20 at the same time, they would all often suffocate. Quite a lot of the underground cells, they died from starvation as well as punishment. These are some of the prison blocks, like there's 26 and 27. The watchtower down there, that's near where the crematorium and the gas chambers were, so we're on our way down there now. This was the camp kitchen, and then out front of the camp kitchen there was these, which were the galleries, and these were where there would be public hangings, and and prisoners would be hung from there, and other prisoners would be forced to watch. The first commander lived over there, and while everything was going on in here, the exterminations and the burnings and the shootings, he was over there living with his wife, and he had a swimming pool and had a massive house, farm gas chamber and crematorium up here. We've almost finished the tour. We're just on the way back to the shuttle bus sort of place now, and it's just that is one of the best and one of the worst things I think I've ever experienced. So we're on the bus going to Birkenau. Now we've just finished the Auschwitz tour. You can see all the buildings there. We've just finished the Auschwitz tour. Now we're going to guards tower there. Now we're going to Birkenau for the second half of the tour. The Birkenau one is slightly shorter, but apparently the conditions there are just 20 times worse than they are here. So I'm almost curious to see how different it is at Birkenau versus here. Well, guys, we've just got off the bus. You can see the really big I don't want to say famous, but the really big building in the background there. So we need to walk over there. This tour takes about an hour, and then we get 20 minutes after to go into like the bookshop and the souvenir shop, which it seems strange that there's a souvenir shop at such a morbid place, but just looking at it you can see how far down it stretches, all the way down there. And then this is like I don't want to say famous building, but you know the building that I feel like a lot of people think of when they think of Auschwitz and concentration camps. We've just come through the gate, and you can see all of the buildings in which people were basically sentenced to death. Extreme work, and there's the rail tracks there going to the building. There's the watchtowers, and I just find it so crazy how, you know, if someone came to Birkenau, it was basically a death sentence. You know, there was you entered but you didn't leave, and it's a horrific thought. You know, to think just how brutal the treatment of people here was. We just walked all the way down from the road of death behind us there, right from the big gate, and here, you know, there's a bunch of like destroyed houses and stuff back there, destroyed barracks, and then there's a big monument in front of us. There's a sculpture that they've made, and it's got the language of the 20-something different languages of everyone, 27 I think it was, of everyone that was the people that was here, and they almost represent tombstones, and the big one in the middle that's meant to represent the towers of the chimneys. and then all the ones packed closely together in front of it are meant to represent the people that would huddle together inside the gas chambers, you know, while they were dying. But you know, there was, because of how many people were put into them all at once, everyone would be huddled together. This is what it says in English. English is the very last plaque, so you go through all the other languages before you reach English, and that's because there were some Jews that were removed. They were removed, removed and deported from the Channel Islands all the way to Auschwitz. So here is the crematorium and the gas chambers and this sort of whole area, which was blown up by SS soldiers just I think a week before the liberation. And there was an uprising over the other side of the trees. There was an uprising in Crematorium 4, which that was burned down by Jews. There was by Jews and other political prisoners. There were 451 that died, but it did not go in vain, because 2 or 3 SS members, SS soldiers, were killed as well. The day before the liberation by the Soviets, the SS soldiers blew up Crematorium 5, which was the last functioning one, and then they all fled. So by the time the Soviets got here, there was no guards in the camp at all.
Most were transferred by trucks, were dumped into rivers. The ashes were even spread in fields and used as fertilizer. There were huge farms around on which persons produced food for German civilians, for the camp, for the SS staff. At every such a place in which these ashes were found, you can see these 4 black stones.
It's like the remnants of the barracks there, with the chimneys and the fireplaces inside, all there, and then there's still full barracks there that they have to keep being maintained, you know, because they're almost a century old, so they have to be maintained frequently. There's a wagon there next to one of these barracks. But I bet that's, you know, I think that's probably the original one, and it's surrounded by barbed wire and like double fences. This is one of the barracks. This is where the women would be stored, and on each of these they'd be sleeping on straw, and there'd be about 4 on each bunk, so there'd be about 12 in each one of these, 4 on the actual floor, 4 on that and 4 on that. There'd be around 700 people in one of these. The newcomers would be forced to sleep on the floor, and yeah, until someone on one of the middle or top bunks died, and then one of the newcomers could go on one of them bunks. There was also a major rat, mice, lice, all that infestation as well. So we finished the tour now. On our way back to the main square. We're gonna get dropped off there at the second drop-off point, and then we're just gonna have some food and then go back to the apartment, because it has been a long day. So guys, we got off the bus after that very long day. We got off the bus, and then we're in this restaurant called Loza, and we got some absolutely delicious food. Really appetizing, really excited to try it, so I'll let you know how it is, and I'll see you back at the apartment. Hello guys, finally back at the apartment. It's been a very long, emotionally draining, physically tiring day, but it's been very informative, very useful and very eye-opening. So, and also the food that we got from that restaurant was absolutely gorgeous. That was one of the best carbonaras I've ever had. But I hope you found this video useful, informative, and you found out everything you needed to know about the tour of Auschwitz-Birkenau. And I hope you enjoyed it. So I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.